Well, we've had some record-setting snow here in the Eastern Sierra, made for many challenges for many residents, visitors, business owners. And over this past weekend, the town of Mammoth Lakes helped out many people and area lodging facilities. Now, the town of Mammoth Lakes over the weekend designated temporary overnight parking sites for visitors in need of parking. Due to the excessive snowfall this month, the limited availability of hotel and condominium parking, press release notes that the town identified 4 locations throughout the community conveniently located near or adjacent to transit routes, and that was for visitors to use. They were requested to park their vehicles in the designated areas for the weekend and use the complimentary transit service. Now, temporary overnight parking locations were at the Hillside Parking Lot, Tavern Park and Ride, Mammoth Ice Rink, the Upper Lock, as well as Mammoth Creek Park. Now, visitors were not to be ticketed during their stay, but were asked to vacate the temporary overnight parking sites by no later than Monday morning. Mammoth Lakes Police Department is reminding citizens that there is no street parking from November 1st through April 30th. Town of Mammoth Lakes gots to plow, you know. Vehicles found parked in violation of the ordinances subject to receiving a parking citation, and or in some cases, vehicles may be impounded at the owner's expense. Lots of snow and more coming. Nice of the town of Mammoth Lakes to do that, and we'll have Dennis Mattinson's weather report coming up in just a bit. Well, the Eastern Sierra Land Trust is celebrating a large monetary fund. Eastern Sierra Land Trust press release notes that in a landmark victory for local conservation and long-term health of the Eastern Sierra, the USDA's Regional Conservation Partnership Program, that's the RCPP, created an $8 million fund to support initiatives conserving the bi-state population of greater sage-grouse and enhancing ranch water quality in the region. Press release notes that the sage-grouse thrive in wide open areas with abundant sagebrush, that's us, native grasses and wet meadows, a landscape known as the sagebrush ecosystem frequently found on working ranches. Now, the RCPP will ensure that the sage-grouse, along with other wildlife species that rely on the sagebrush ecosystem, will continue to exist harmoniously on ranch lands for years to come. This funding is available to landowners in the bi-state area along the California-Nevada border. Now, the local nonprofit Eastern Sierra Land Trust spearheaded the funding request with 10 other national, state, regional, and private partners. Now, clean water and ranch stewardship are priorities that span state and party lines, and the bi-state demonstrates that spirit of collaboration. This award is an affirmation of the work we are doing together and the power of partnership. Now, that's what Susanna Danner, Land Conservation Program Director, said from the Eastern Sierra Land Trust. You can see that full press release that is posted on our website, sierrawave.net. And more than 105,000 people from throughout the United States, and yes, around the world, visited Manzanar National Historic Site in the Owens Valley in 2016. That's topping the previous year's record of 95,000 visitors. Now, National Park Service press release notes from near and far, youth and elders, first-time visitors, and Japanese Americans who had been incarcerated all had a variety of opportunities to connect to the site, its stories, and yes, each other. Manzanar National Historic Site has seen continuing increases in visitation, 11% in 2016 and 23% in 2015. Now, said Manzanar Superintendent Bernadette Johnson, our mission at Manzanar is to preserve the site and share its stories. We were honored to host so many visitors in 2016, the centennial year of the National Park Service. We mark another anniversary in 2017, the 75th anniversary of President Franklin D. Roosevelt's Executive Order 9066, which led to the World War II incarceration of more than 120,000 Japanese Americans. Bernadette Johnson also said that this year marks the 75th anniversary of Manzanar War Relocation Center's opening and the 25th anniversary of Manzanar National Historic Site's establishment. Manzanar site continues to evolve, the press release notes. Last year, the National Park Service reconstructed the Block 14 women's latrine, which will eventually feature exhibits. A new accessible sidewalk links the visitor center, barracks, and latrine. Park staff are also developing an exhibit on education in Manzanar on Barracks 8. Work also continues throughout Manzanar to preserve the Japanese gardens, historic orchards, and other site features. Well, Rose Bracken from Home Street Middle School won first place again in the Inyo County Spelling Bee, sponsored by Altrusa International. Inyo County Superintendent of Schools Lisa Fontana announced, hey, 20 students from local elementary and middle schools participated in the countywide spelling bee that took place last week at Jill Kinmont Booth School. The winners, first place, Rose Bracken, she's a sixth grader, Home Street Middle School. Second place went to Maudie Iman, eighth grader at Home Street Middle School. And third place, Jody Bedore, fourth grader at Round Valley. Now, the local Altrusa chapter again sponsored the competition. Cash prizes and trophies for the top 3 finishers, along with some gift cards. The Round Valley PTO also donated $20 to the last person standing from each of the 4 districts competing. Those were Ashley Fitt from Big Pine, Lindsay Rowan from Bishop Unified, AJ Wilder of Owens Valley, and Tyler Banta from Round Valley. Representing Inyo County at the Elementary State Spelling Bee in May will be Jody Bedore and Rose Bracken. Maudie Iman and AJ Wilder represent Inyo County at the Junior High State Bee in May. Now the winning word, Blitzkrieg. You can see the entire press release on the Inyo County Spelling Bee on our website, sierrawave.net. And again, congratulations to Rose Bracken. We'll be back with more news.